It's time for Marvel in the 90s. And tonight we're talking about the Supernaturals. That's right. The Supernaturals was plotted by Brian, Pulido? He was the creator of like Chaos Comics, Lady Death, all that jazz. The covers are by Jim Balent, who we'll know from, of course, Catwoman. And it's written by Mark Andreyko with artwork by Ivan Reis. So you'll be seeing some early Ivan Reis artwork, less polished Ivan Reis artwork. So The Supernaturals, first of all, is a 4-issue weekly series that released in October of 1998. Now, I was in high school. I was starting my senior year. I remember this very well. Marvel was really on an upswing at this moment. Post Heroes Reborn, and it was just working. They had gone through bankruptcy, and they just had great creators working for them. And then at this time, in Halloween of 98, they were hot off the heels of Halloween H2O. They were really cranking out some Halloween content, right? Blade had just been in theaters. So we got the Supernaturals. It was a 4-issue series. It's set in a different multiverse. So this is starring familiar heroes like Ghost Rider and Brother Voodoo and Black Cat, but it's not the versions that we know and love. And yes, Eric, Brian was also the creator of Evil Ernie and Purgatory and a lot of others. So the story centers around Brother Voodoo, Jericho Drum. So this is Jericho and his brother Daniel, and their parents are killed in an act of hate against people practicing a different religion. And his brother is trying to resurrect his parents with a blood sacrifice. And in doing so, gets lost and creates a chaos event. The chaos event takes all the non-magic based heroes and it causes them to just be zapped away and disappear, along with Jericho's brother. And there you go. So Jericho is grown up now. He is now a record producer, a very famous record producer. But by night, he's Brother Voodoo. And he's got a really cool costume that's a little bit Spawn influenced, I think. Like I said, this is a different reality. Everything is different. Other heroes in this are Satana. She is a teenage model who is also a devout Catholic possessed by the daughter of Satan. Okay. And then Ghost Rider's there, and it's Johnny Blaze, but he's a little bit more of a prickish douchebag Johnny Blaze, a little bit more silly. And then you got Jack Russell, Werewolf by Night, really cool. They all start getting attacked. There you have Black Cat. It's a different Black Cat. She's like involved in Democrat politics or something like that. She gets black hair when she goes into costume. Whatever. You also have the Living Gargoyle. I have no idea who this character is, aside from this book. So I don't know if this is something that already existed, but whatever. So Brother Voodoo has this vision. He remembers 13 years ago, there was this chaos event that was caused by his brother doing the spell. All the heroes disappeared that weren't magic-based. And he gets this vision that he has to unite the 5 in order to stop the upcoming evil, the evil being Jack-O-Lantern. A really cool, probably the best interpretation of Jack-O-Lantern. I think it's pretty cool. So Jack-O-Lantern then kidnaps Werewolf by Night. Jack Russell steals his soul. Now he's his slave. I love the coloring on Jack-O-Lantern throughout this entire book. So then he shows back up, and we know that he's a bad guy working for Jack-O-Lantern, but he teams up with the others, and they dub themselves the Supernaturals. They have to go stop this chaos that's been spread across the land. There's the living mummy making an appearance. That's super, super cool. And then Jack-O-Lantern shows up, and he does something through the Eye of Agamotto, because Brother Voodoo now has the Eye of Agamotto, because Doctor Strange has been disappeared. Now that this new chaos event is taking over, other magic-based heroes are now starting to disappear. So he flings them all through different bits of the world, and they encounter classic monsters and classic Marvel monsters, including Dracula, the monster of Frankenstein, the Marvel version of Scarecrow, the Headless Horseman, the Chupacabra, and the zombie, of course, the Marvel living zombie right there. Great throwbacks. I think it's super cool. And Jack-O-Lantern is just unleashing chaos on the world. You have no idea why. The planets are aligned right. And there's a great image of him with his pet, Werewolf by Night. And some of the art in here, it's early. It's Ivan Reis. It's a little unpolished, but it works and it's cool. Then he gets that horn that Namor has in the early issues of Fantastic Four to call these early monsters. And he calls out all these like Atlas Comics monsters and early Marvel Days monsters. You see them all right there, including Groot down there, notice, on the right-hand side in the middle, invading Moscow, Russia. So then Werewolf by Night decides all of a sudden, oh, by the way, I was just faking it. I've been in control the whole time. A little bit convenient, but whatever. So he saves everybody, and then Brother Voodoo has this vision in which he finds out that his brother Daniel, when he did the ritual 13 years ago, this was his plan. He's an evil dude, and he is, in fact, he is Jack-O-Lantern. What? So Jack-O-Lantern is Jericho's brother. So that's a crazy twist that they have. And like I said, y'all, what a badass costume. It's so influenced by Spawn. It is so 90s and even late 90s, like late period post-90s almost. But it works. So he has this final battle. Black Cat helps him out, realizes she has to grab the Eye of Agamotto. All the heroes band together, share their Care Bear stare, give Voodoo the energy, and he defeats his brother. His brother tells him, though, oh, the Wand of Watum, it has all those heroes that disappeared 13 years ago are trapped inside of this in an alternate dimension. And then he gets away, and as he gets away, all the monsters disappear, and there you see some of the other magic-based heroes that are briefly spotlighted in the book, like Agatha Harkness and Cloak and Dagger, and Hellcat, and Damien Hellstrom. He's got a TV show coming out. And, of course, they all save the day, and they decide at the end, hey, we should be a group together. We should, go out and save the world. And this, of course, all takes place at Halloween. And it says, to be continued. If you want to see more, let us know. Maybe we'll come back next Halloween. They didn't. It is not a very well-done book at all. But it is so much fun. So, let me go ahead and show you my copies. There's issue number 1. Now, these are my copies from back in 1998. I was engrossed in this story. I had no idea that this was an alternate version at the time. This was my first introduction to Brother Voodoo and Satana and Living Gargoyle. And I knew Werewolf by Night. And I knew Black Cat. This was a different Black Cat. Like, that's Black Cat right there on the cover. Jim Balent does the covers. I know there are a lot of Jim Balent fans out there. This is dollar book fodder. You'll find this in 50-cent dollar books. It didn't sell. It wasn't popular. And it's still just riding out there. But they have great covers. It's got decent artwork. It's a doofy story. And it's not very well executed. And it's kind of all over the place. And it's very convenient. But I have a lot of fun with this. This was a weekly series that Marvel did during Halloween using all their supernatural heroes, and they did it in a non-continuity base, even though they could have tied it into continuity, honestly, because these heroes were never used. It's the best usage of Jack-O-Lantern that I've seen in a comic book. I love that Spawn-inspired costume for Brother Voodoo. All the characters are kind of out of whack. They're all teenagers. I don't know what they were appealing to. I guess they were appealing to me, like a 17-year-old Rockin Robbie. But whatever. There's issue number 1. There's issue number 2. Love this cover. I love these covers. And at the time, I really liked this book. And I love that it was weekly. I love that one. Number 3, you got Dracula and Frankenstein and Werewolf by Night there. Oh. And then issue number 4 right there. Now, another cool gimmick that they had with this was that they all have these Halloween masks inside. So it says right there, free Halloween mask. Collect all 5, including the rare Ghost Rider mask. So I have the 4 issues. Which ones do I have? So in the first issue, and it doesn't matter, it's not particular per issue, you'll get a random one. But in the first issue, I have Brother Voodoo, that cool Spawn-influenced Brother Voodoo. I think that's dope. I never pulled those out. Maybe I should go digging for more of these in the dollar bin and pull some out and put them on the shelf or put them on the wall, especially for Horror Fest. In issue number 2, I've got the Living Gargoyle right there. And I still don't know if this is a character that was created by Pulido and Andreyko or if it was something. Can someone fact check that for me? Mike, I know you're here. Can you do that? In issue number 3, I've got Satana right there. So there you go. And in issue number 4, I already know what's in this one. So I just wanted a weird flex on this and weird stretch. But I've got the quote-unquote rare Ghost Rider one. And they're just, of course, cutouts, but there it is. So I don't have whatever the 5th one is. It's apparently not rare like the Ghost Rider one is, but I do have those. So I'm still on the lookout for an issue of Supernaturals, and I think it's the Werewolf by Night. I think it's Werewolf by Night was the other one. But anyway, Supernaturals, really dumb, super stupid. But if you're a fan of Chaos Comics, if you're a fan of Jim Balent's artwork, if you're a fan of Ivan Reis and curious to see some of his early work and see how his art has grown, or if you're just a Marvel horror zombie like I am, this is something to get. And I think it's fun. And it came out in 98. It came out weekly throughout the month of October in 1998. It is separated from Marvel continuity. It's in its own universe. And I tell you what, as of now, in my 5-year Blade plan, they're involved. That's right. We're going to return to that. So let's get that to happen. Anyway, thank you so much. I hope you have a spooky Halloween. And that was our Horror Fest influenced Marvel in the what? Marvel in the 90s.